Timmy Trico coming at you again with yet another ranking. Today I'm ranking my favorite Friday the 13th from my least favorite to my favorite. Friday the 13th, for those who know me, know that this is my favorite horror franchise and favorite antagonist when it comes to um, the killer. And the iconic hockey mask is well known, probably more so than Michael Myers' mask, possibly. But regardless, this is my favorite horror franchise. And yes, there are some great films, in my opinion. There's some good films, and there's some films that are just okay. But without further ado, this is my ranking of all 12 Friday the 13th films. I am not including the YouTube film that is very good, but it is not a feature film, and I just won't include it in this list. I hope whoever wrote and directed that film gets a chance to do a real Friday the 13th film once the lawsuit is settled to who has rights to the franchise. But without further ado, here's my ranking of all 12 Friday the 13th films. Number 12 is Jason X. That's pretty much all that needs to be said. The opening of this film, the first 10 minutes is really good. I loved what they were doing. But as soon as it gets to the outer space and Earth 2, or they're heading to Earth 2, it is just, it's really bad. It's got cheesy dialogue, and there's only one positive in this film. There's one kill that I absolutely love, and it is when the female is first checking over Jason, and he awakes, of course, and he freezes her face and smashes it on the counter. That is an awesome kill. That is my favorite kill in Jason X. There are a couple others that are okay, but that one we've never seen before and freaking awesome. But the film itself, it's bad. It's laughable. It's kind of a dark comedy horror film. But regardless, it's a guilty pleasure. I mean, I will watch it, but it is the weakest of the 12 films. Coming to number 11 is Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. Now, this film I actually enjoy. This is, not only is it funny, but it is what they were trying to do in the Halloween franchise with Season of the Witch, which went terribly wrong for the franchise. And more so with this franchise. So, of course, you know what happens. We get a Part 6, and Jason comes back. But what they were trying to do is trying to have who did it for the next 5 or 6 films, or however many they do. And I like the concept and everything. And some of the kills in the film are actually pretty good. The two best in this film are when the couple's in the forest and the girl gets the hedge clippers in the eyes, and then the boyfriend gets the belt across the eyes, and he basically just snaps his eyes back in his sockets. But overall, it's a guilty pleasure again. It is funny. The mother and son duo is funny. The scene in the porta potty is funny, and yeah, I still watch it. I like it a hell of a lot better than Season of the Witch. And I'm not going to get further into that. We'll talk about that another time. But Part 5 is number 11, and yeah, it's pretty much all I can say. Kind of number 10 is Jason Goes to Hell. This film, I went to the theater and watched this back in 1993. My family and I were on vacation. My sister, my dad, and my stepmom at the time, Jeannie, we were on vacation. in Wisconsin Dells, and we went to see this film, and I was disappointed. The kills in this film are fantastic, um, but I didn't like the whole switching of the bodies, and um, we only got to see the actual Jason character for a little bit in the beginning and end. But I do like some of the characters in this film. I love Creighton Duke. They were talk of a spinoff for Creighton Duke for this franchise, but nonetheless, it has good kills. At the end, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the film, Freddy's hand comes up and grabs his mask, and but yeah, it's disappointing as a fan of Jason and Kane Hodder. I love him. I love his portrayal as Jason. He's the only one to do more than one film. He's done 4 films of the franchise, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I was disappointed that he needed to do another film in the franchise, but we'll get to that soon enough. But yeah, Jason Go to Hell. It's an okay film, but I'm still disappointed in it. Coming to number 9 is Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. This film was a disappointment, in my opinion. I like some of the kills. The best kill is in Manhattan when the boxer dude gets his head knocked off by Jason. That was a great kill. And there was a couple other good ones. The girl took the guitar to the face. But overall, this film made the least amount of money at the box office. And this came out in 1989. Sorry. And it was the 8th film to come out in the 1980s for this franchise. So they pumped them out, quick. And this one suffered. I really wish they would have just kept this film on the boat and not even mentioned Manhattan. It should have been Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason on a Cruise, or Friday the 13th Part 8, The Cruise. They're only in Manhattan for 20 minutes, maybe 25 at the most. But there's some good scenes in Manhattan. I will give them that. But overall, I was a little disappointed with this film. But I love Kane Hodder in this film. He's the best version of Jason Voorhees, in my opinion. Not taking anything away from the other guys, because you'll see them higher on my list. But I love Kane Hodder as the main antagonist in these franchises. Coming to number 8 is Freddy vs. Jason. I love this movie. We were so desperate to finally get this movie, and we got it, and it delivered. I love this film. Robert Englund returns as Freddy Krueger, but what pissed me off is Kane Hodder didn't get the chance to come back as Jason. And if you're going to bring back Robert Englund for Freddy Krueger, you got to bring back the guy who's done the most movies in the franchise. I don't care what anybody says. And the gentleman who they had play Jason was okay. I believe he's a Canadian stuntman. Kurt Zinger, I think his name is. But I wanted Kane Hodder. But besides that, I love Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. The funny is there with him, and the fight scene between him and Jason is phenomenal. Could be a little bit over the top at some points, but nonetheless, I love it. I love some of the characters in this film as well. The kills at the rave were kind of cheesy. Because you could tell that they were wearing the blood boxes or whatever they use, and that was a little disappointing. And instead of those people running, they were running at Jason, which was kind of odd. But nonetheless, I love Freddy vs. Jason. It is fantastic, and I hope we get to see another crossover with some iconic characters as well. Coming to number 7 is Friday the 13th Part 7, A New Blood. I love this film. I love Tina in this film. finally get someone that actually can take down Jason, and I love the fact that she has this telekinesis, and she uses that to take on Jason, and I love it. And I love Kane Hodder in this film. There's some great kills in this film, although they were uh, toned down a bit because otherwise this film was going to be given an X rating because of the violence. But nonetheless, there's some great kills in the film. The girl in the sleeping bag, her boyfriend out in the woods, and the party. I don't know if it's a party popper or what it was, but this girl takes it to the eye. He crushes her boyfriend's freaking head, and there's just some great kills in this film. I love this film. It's just phenomenal, and I love Tina's character, and I love the fact that her doctor gets it in the end. He's such an asshole in this film, and I'm glad he gets what he deserves. Coming in number 6 is Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. I love this film as well. Corey Feldman is in this film. Crispin Glover is goofy but charming in this film. His whole freaky dance was hilarious. But he was really excited about being in this film, and he could not wait to film his kill scene. He was so happy. When you see the behind the scenes for the director's cut, he was happy, and he couldn't wait for his kill scene. And and his best friend in this film was in another film in the 80s called Mask with Cher and Eric Stoltz. And he's really good in this film. I love the characters. There's a female in the film. She ends up getting killed in the water on a little life raft, but she was in Weird Science as well. She played one of the love interests to not Anthony Michael Hall, but the other kid, and she's pretty good in this film too. But I love this film. I love Corey Feldman. You can tell he was the best actor, maybe besides Crispin Glover, on the set. But it's a great film, a great story, and we finally get to reveal Jason's face. And then what Corey Feldman's character does to him is phenomenal. It's just a great film, and one of my favorites. It would be higher on my list, but there's some other films that I watched earlier on when I was growing up that I favor a little bit more. But this is a fantastic film. Had they ended the series with just the 4 films, I would have been satisfied. But as a fan of the franchise, I'm glad they continued on. But yeah, number 4 is fantastic. Coming to number 5 is Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. The 3D is kind of dated, but it still works. If you buy the movies, at least I bought the DVDs, they gave you 3D glasses, and it was nice to watch in 3D. I never got to the theaters to watch this because I was just a young child when this film came out. I was 5 years old. But nevertheless, I love this film. This is the film that we see the really intimidation factor with Jason. And I love the kills in this film. He gets his iconic mask in this film. And I love some of the kills. One of the best kills is when this girl is trying to retrieve this guy's wallet that she dropped in the water. And she goes to retrieve it, and Jason just nonchalant just walks out onto the deck, and with a harpoon gun, I believe it is, with the arrow, he just points it and just shoots it. It shoots her right in the eye, and the 3D on it, you can tell. But it is one of the best kills in the film. And there's also a biker gang involved, which is kind of funny. But the characters in the film are really good. And there's one kill in this film that involves the 3D. I won't spoil it if you haven't seen the film, but it is badass. I love the 3D part of that. And I just love this film. It is a perfect sequel, in my opinion. Like I said, the 3D is a little dated, but Jason's character in this film is really intimidating. And some of the shots that you see in the film just give me the chills now, still to this day. And I love it about this franchise. It's amazing. Coming to number 4 is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. This film has the highest rated Rotten Tomatoes score, I believe, out of all the films. And I love this film. The guy who plays Jason in this film is freaking awesome. They bring him back because Part 5 pissed off a lot of fans of the franchise. Not so much me in this franchise, but in another one. But nevertheless, they brought him back, and boy, did they ever bring him back. He's more of a demon in this film, and the film's going on. Electricity brought him back, but the gist of the story is Tommy Jarvis is now an adult and wants to eliminate Jason once for all. So he digs him up with his friend and was going to burn his body, and he jams his pole into him and ends up getting hit by lightning and resurrecting Jason. But the best thing about this film is the soundtrack. Alice Cooper is freaking phenomenal, and the kills in this film are great kills, especially in the beginning. One of the very first kills, and there's some other kills. My favorite one is what happens to the sheriff in this film. I won't spoil it, but it is a badass kill. And there's some other kills of the counselors, especially the black woman in this film, unfortunately, has a bad twist. But yeah, it is a fantastic film. It was great to resurrect the franchise and bring in Jason back. And it definitely worth a top 5 spot, in my opinion. Coming to number 3 is Friday the 13th, the original 1980 classic. I love this film. Betsy Palmer, rest in peace. She did this film because she wanted a new car. She didn't like the script. She thought it was a piece of crap, but she did it anyway. And this film, I believe, was a $500,000 budget, made over $40 million at the box office, and it also features a big star in this film. One Kevin Bacon is in this film, and I thought he was pretty good in this film. Of course, he did another film before that, National Lampoon's Animal House, but I thought he was pretty good in this film. I love Betsy Palmer. Adrienne King, she's good in this film. The characters are really good. Nettie, he's kind of funny. I love the old man from town, and it has some good kills in it. Nothing fantastic. The best kill in this film is what happens to Kevin Bacon's character as he's laying in bed. I love that kill. But this is a great film. It got it started. A lot of critics didn't like the film because they were just trying to go off the success of Halloween. And, well, it's a slasher film. I love it. It has a special place in my heart. And yeah, it will always be a top 5 film in my opinion. Coming to number 2 is Friday the 13th, the remake from 2009. I freaking love this film. I do not understand the hate for this film. This film basically combines the first 3 original films into one. It starts off in the beginning. You see Mrs. Voorhees, and they show her losing her head. Then it goes from there. It has about a 20-minute part where it's completely different from the actual movie itself, or it takes place 6 weeks after the fact. But these kids go on the hunt for this big crop of marijuana, and they find the old cabins and run into Jason, who has a bag on his head. And so, as you know, in the second film, he has the sack on his head. And throughout this film, he eventually acquires the hockey mask. And I love the fact that there's tunnels in this film. Is how he got around so fast. He had bells rigged up so he could hear someone was coming, and he is phenomenal in this film. I love the guy that played Jason in this film. He's a big stunt man, I know that, but I love the characters in this film as well. And there's one scene, of course, when a couple is having sex, of course, but some of the cheesiest lines comes out of the guy, and I'm not going to say what they are, but just for that part alone makes this film. And I'm really disappointed we didn't get a sequel with this film. The kills in this film are fantastic. Yeah, I can't say enough about this film. It made big money at the box office, and I don't understand the hate. I love this film. I really hope they settle that lawsuit and determine who gets the rights to the franchise, and so we can move on with another movie. But yeah, 2009's remake, fantastic. And coming into my number one film for this franchise is Friday the 13th Part 2. Yes, I love this sequel. I love Jason in this film. Of course, he has the sack on his head, of course. But it's not so much the intimidation factor. It's just not knowing, you're not seeing him a whole lot in this movie. But once you do, it gives me chills just seeing him. And the kills in this film are fantastic. My favorite, of course, and it was my favorite before my paralysis and me being in a wheelchair. But there's a guy in a wheelchair in this film who goes out looking for the girl that he's supposed to hook up with. And he's sitting there on the porch calling her name. And all of a sudden, bam, he takes a big old butcher knife or cleaver to the face. And then he ends up falling down the stairs in his wheelchair. That is my favorite kill in Friday the 13th Part 2. This film is my favorite. I love it. Jason gets started, but before we see him back at the camp, he gets his revenge on the survivor from the first film, Adrienne King. And I love that. I love the fact that he got back at her for killing his mom, and that set off the franchise. And that's why I love this film. I love the characters in this film. And yeah, the kill on the porch with the guy in the wheelchair, the police officer takes the hammer to the head, and then the female survivor in this film using his mother's death as a trying to get an advantage on him and try and kill him is great. And I just love this film. It's always going to be my favorite film, unless they come out with another film that just totally blows me away. But Friday the 13th Part 2 is my favorite film in the franchise. And yeah, even though I was only 3 years old when this film came out, I still love this film. It gives me chills every time I watch it. And so there you have it. That is my ranking of the Friday the 13th films, from my least favorite to my favorite, although I have a soft spot for all the films. So with that being said, let me know in the comment section below, did you agree with my ranking? Did you not agree with it? And give me your ranking of the 12 films. If you want to include the YouTube short film, that's fine. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. I would love to talk movies. I love to talk horror movies, especially. It's one of my favorite genres of films. So let's talk. And I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.